Okay, we're going to get this started. It is too cold to be messing around today. I know ads are going to run, but that's fine. Oh. Mojo, good morning. Hope you are well. You still in Florida? Hope everything is okay there. Okay. It's 17 degrees. I'm in a room where the windows have essentially failed and no heating. So this is not good today. I have a little heater on. So yeah. Working out with Starbucks this morning. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay. So I'm going to avoid showing too much of the data of Liquid Sky anymore on the testing environment, mainly because people have started to use emails to sign up and enter some data, and I don't want to risk showing something that someone wants to keep private. So Dota kindly over the weekend actually spent an hour or so actually sat with me going through some things, and he actually did some testing, which you know, was awesome. It was actually good to see someone trying to use the actual system and seeing some of those pain points, and then seeing some of the training that happens when you're used to working in a tool and you're expecting another tool to behave the same way. And also it highlighted some challenges in terminology. So it's kind of fun to do that. Basically, Delta created a few projects. We identified a little bit of an issue there, fixed that, got that deployed pretty quickly. So the project's now load. It was a solid change. But then we yeah, it was good. Delta went through, created some data, and it was funny kind of watching him working it, because when he kept going back to planning items, because I don't know whether it was a mental thing, or just a terminology thing. I'm gonna try and figure that out. But it was like kept going back to them as like the root of the thing, right? The story in Jira. And then instead of the tasks, there's some features obviously we need to add that are going to make the process much simpler. Editing, you can't edit a task once it's assigned to a sprint, because I didn't put that feature in yet. I kind of cut it over to the deployment. And then there's some eventual consistency things that I want to work on today, because I'm not going to try and tackle more deployment stuff yet. I might as well try that over the next couple of days. So yeah, that's where that is. Yeah, it was good. I mean, honestly, if you want to try and tinker with it and see how you feel so far with it, that is perfectly fine. The machine is on. I've left it actually on all weekend. I'll probably highlight when I've enabled it and disabled it. Mainly because I'm scared of it starting back up again right now. So I've just left it on because I don't want to fight the Kafka fun until I'm ready. What I'll probably do is put windows of testability in there, so it's once I know it's stable and running, then yeah. No guarantees on data. So Dota did put a lot of stuff in there But right now, no guarantees on whether the data remains between restarts or between updates. Obviously, I can't. If I try and guarantee that, I'm going to create a problem for myself. And then again, that just highlights why you don't want to release a piece of software too early, because you have a hard decision to make. So, whereas I'd rather have the flexibility of saying, "Yep, all data created is it's at your own uh, discretion how much you enter." Obviously, I don't want to make it wasteful. Yeah, I'll run through it again, see what you've already addressed, but then post things as taught. I really don't want to bog you down, but that's fine. I mean, if you post the bugs in the forum, then people again, it's only open to you as subscribers right now. So, I'm happy for you to test it out, see what you like, see what you don't like, see if you get the feel. Right. Realistically, I'm trying to see, is there things that you're expecting? Is there things that you would like? Is there things that you see there's a problem? One of the highlighted things. So I'm open to, what I'm saying there is I'm open to feedback and bugs, right? If you have feedback, it doesn't matter if it's negative feedback or positive. I'm not looking for someone to say, wow, this is amazing. I want to hear what people are thinking and try and dig into how you're kind of thinking about things, right? So one of the things that Dota quickly highlighted is adding a task to a thing, right? Obviously, the iconography we understand is not going to be the greatest. I'm not UI UX person, right? But you add a task and then it just disappears and there's no visuals. So how do I represent that? Well, these numbers kind of are meant to represent that, but it doesn't really tell you that something changed. Back button issues in terms of the navigation stack or as in refresh? Refresh, yes, because refresh, there's a problem with refreshing the, so the router, if I bring up, I've been trying to fix this for days. It's driving me crazy. Is it not the gateway? Not the gateway, the tunnel, right? So this map, right, basically says, okay, if it comes in on host name, go to this service, right? If it's got this path, right? Otherwise, go to this service, which is the client website. But it throws 404s. That's what the rule looks like that's what the rule did look like on the server. And I've tried this and I've tried both versions. I've tried all sorts. I might have to recreate the tunnel and figure things out. But basically what I'm looking to do is say, okay, if it has this or this, it goes to the gateway. Everything else goes to the client. So a refresh at F5 should navigate there, right? But no, you get the 404 every time. So, yeah, I don't know why. But it also makes things like the things I'm about to look at addressing now, it makes those things more annoying as well, because the only way of seeing that you've done something is to refresh. And to refresh, you've got to go refresh, then go delete the URL, and then empty, and yeah. Yeah, that's a fun one. So I've got to figure out how to make it say, okay, anything else that goes to Liquid Sky software just goes to this client, right? And it's not as simple as saying, okay, this won't take either because the tunnel rules aren't the same. So the way this originally looked was HTTP status 404, right? And then this should go to, oh, no, I need that. HTTP status 404. And then this should go to that. And then basically that's everything else, right? But this rule doesn't want to take. So there's the tunnel rules, right? HTTP status 404. If I go here and edit this, origin configuration isn't set there. But if I do dot star, question mark dot star, I think that works. An invalid rejects parsing repetition operator. Yeah, because that doesn't work, right? That won't make any difference, by the way, from what I've experienced so far. So yeah, there's that. Hey Sally, how you doing? Um, so the visibility of the tasks, like understanding what tasks there. Obviously, there's kind of a blend there of UI UX that needs to be addressed. That'd be useful. So how you use things. The thing I've been focusing on the last couple of hours or last several days is trying to figure out how to get this to be more. So initially, when you post a comment, it wouldn't save. Well, it would save, but it wouldn't show, right? So I uh, adding a new comment, right? Adding a new comment. Awesome. Now let's add another one. Testing, adding a new comment. Why doesn't that one show? so now, so I fixed it for one, but then the second one doesn't show. So yeah, that's fun. The comment's saved. It's just yeah. So trying to figure out some of those things because those are going to be quality of life pieces as well as you test the application. If it's doing dumb stuff like that, then fixing those up, those eventual consistency problems up, is going to cut down on repetitive bug reporting. That's why I'm saying one line. I am absolutely fine with the same thing as being repeated over and over. It is on me, as a product owner, it is on me to filter out and understand the reporting of my customers. That should be an urgency thing, right? It should be. I understand that it might be repetitive and I've got to filter through it, but that's something that a product owner has to do anyway, right? You have to understand that customers aren't going to ask each other, "Did you report that? Did you report that?" No, they might have a different understanding. They might have a different um, use case that they're going through that's the same exact problem, but they don't understand that it's different. So they're going to report the same thing over and over again. So as a product owner, it is my responsibility to filter that out. So I don't mind if you report something that someone else has reported. I don't care. Um, as long as you don't expect it fixed immediately. um, Good man, working hard on resume to send out a couple of internships for 20 years, clean up some of my personal projects and open source them so I can attach them in my resume. Nice, nice. That's a solid thing to do. Yeah, the resume building is important. And and I don't know, I would now these days, probably these days more than ever because of my age, I would probably highlight my GitHub and stuff more than I would have ever done in the past. Oh. Of course, I wouldn't. I would only want to report things with the intent of making you aware of something you might not have been aware of. Yeah, no, it's fine. But again, like if you see it, you can report it. Don't worry about and it's not just again, it's not just bugs. It's things that you think don't work well as well. Things that you have an opinion on, like, oh, why do I have to do this before this, or why why doesn't this show here? Maybe it's I need to explain something better. Maybe there's a visual representation. But if one person or two people, or whatever, um, um, are struggling through the same thing, there's a likelihood that um, it's going to be a common problem. Uh, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Yeah. One in Apex. Yes, yes. As a subscriber, you are able to go into the Discord. If your Discord is linked with your Twitch account, you'll see a whoa, 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 whoa. Apex, thank you very much. That's amazing. Sally got one. Nice. Nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sincerely appreciate that. Hey, Schwoogan, first time chat. You got a sub. There you go. Welcome in. As I was saying, if you are a subscriber and you are, I'm thrown off a little bit now, and your Discord is linked to your Twitch account, you are more than welcome to sign up to use the application. You go into Discord, there's a channel. You can PM me your email if you want to, but sign up at liquidsky.software. That is, if you sign up there, you do need to enter a real email address, so you can PM me your email address. Once you've done that, I will add your account, but post in the Discord. Tell me you're signing up, and I will, and you can use the software. Again, it is not functional. It is not working ideally. There's things that I would like feedback on. Right now, it's kind of open season, I suppose, on the feedback. Just try and make it productive. Like if you're going to tell me I don't like this, awesome. I hope you have a good holidays. The subs are good for them. Apex, thank you so much for that. That is amazing. I appreciate that sincerely. That's amazing. It's throwing me off, man. Yeah, okay. So yeah, if you post in the Discord that you signed up, if you don't want to have your email in the Discord, you can. I will delete the email address afterwards. Dota posted his as a message because it's private Discord to only subscribers there, those channels, and I will add you in there because you need me to set up the permissions. Otherwise, you can sign up and you can log in and see a blank screen, but that's all you'll be able to do. You won't have any permissions to do anything else. Yeah, all feedback is welcome. Yes, I promise not to use your email, and I am going to, from now on, unfortunately, if I'm showing the test system, there will be no showing of the database because I cannot risk sharing someone's email or someone's personal information if they decide to enter more information. So yeah, it's it's step one. This is the early alpha of this project, and I hope to add more. So realistically, it's kind of like, obviously, if you've watched the stream a little bit, you understand what I've done here. What I saw from Dota was Dota's, I don't know, he didn't say it, but what I was watching as he was doing it, because he was kind enough to share the screen with me, was I think his brain was going back to how Jira was. So he kept coming to this screen for working on the items and stuff, but maybe that's because some of it wasn't showing. So I'm trying to understand, do people like the workflows? Do they like the ideas? Does it help them? And how would you put your work into this, right? If you think about it, and again, we're developers, so this isn't going to be super easy. But because we're not PMs, so we're not the target audience for this screen particularly. What Dota did was created his projects as you know, blog, AI project, etc., etc., right? And he then created the planning items for those things. And he started to get into the habit of using the review date. So the review date is, again, that is a date for you to look at this thing again, right? Do you need to do more on it? Is there more information you've gathered? Have you got everything that you need? Do you need to ask more questions? Are there comments? Are there things to actually look at, right? So that's what the review date is for. So starting to embrace using that review date. It's not a deadline. It's just a, when do I want to look at this thing? And then getting into the habit of using the status and starting to think about that. So a lot of this is from my brain. It is not it is not a collaborative effort. So there's going to be things that don't make sense to other people. And those are the things that you can provide feedback on. You know, if you don't like the status, if you don't see the point in it, if you don't understand why you select things, ask the questions, use the forum in the Discord. You can create posts in there. You're more than welcome to, and use the application. So yeah, that's where it is. But yeah, it's the focus of today's stream. And again, if you have any questions, thoughts, opinions on what I'm doing, subscriber and non-subscriber, you're more than welcome to share. If you want me to dig into something or demonstrate anything, please let me know. And Shwogan, I saw you got the sub. Thank you for the follow as well. I appreciate that. It's too cold today. Okay, so let's look at comments. So we're going to be looking at the Angular stuff today, right? Because I want to address some of the eventual consistency concerns. So if I go to, no, I can't do that. Hold on, Firefox. Do I have it? Yeah. Do I have it installed? No, I do not. Microsoft Edge, you'll do. Just need a different browser. Okay, so again, if you go to the Liquid Sky software and you want to sign up, you can do. Jeffrey, testing. So if you add other users, if you decide to test adding other users in the system, remember those have to be real email addresses. It will send an email, or it should send an email. I tested it once. I do know that it will not let you it will not let you create nonsense emails and use that. It will fail every time. So you can't, that's what I'm saying. You have to use a real email address if you want it to function. If you just want to mess around, you don't want to create the user, any extra users and stuff, you can enter an invalid email address, but it's easy to just say, enter a real email address is easier. So past due. Also, what I'm looking for is if I've missed any tenant queries. I don't think I have so far. I think I've been pretty good. So the data that's showing should only be my tenant. It should not be your tenant. You should not see my data. I should not see yours. So far, it looks like it's working pretty well. Dark mode in Edge is kind of interesting. Okay, so I created this item last week to start tracking these things, right? So when I create a new planning item, I want to go ahead and begin adding the extra information. Sometimes when I click the planning, this one's a particularly annoying one. We'll get around to that in a minute. Adding comments. When comments are added, they're not shown immediately. I expect to see a comment at the top of the list immediately after adding. That's what I'm going to focus on. So go to my tasks, go to my boards, fix UI consistency, comments not refreshing from store change. So this is what I got to do. I got to figure out this piece. So I have changed some stuff, and it now shows the first comment that I add, but then any subsequent comments don't show, which I have no idea why. So we're going to dig into that. Some of this is me learning about how signal stores work in Angular, in NGRX, the library that is being used. Some of it's me learning how signals in general are working because I don't think I have a solid grasp of those things yet. So that's just gonna take time. That's gonna just take time and practice working in the framework. As we build more complex screens, that's gonna become easier. So the way this works is it patches the state of the store to pending. The idea there is that what I would ultimately do is kind of show a loading overlay on pending. So I'd be able to react to the fact that the state has changed to pending, therefore show a loading screen, right? We're then going to find the entity, the planning item that we're talking about, because this is adding a comment to a planning item. This is where I'm talking about whether I'm using idiomatic Angular or NGRX or Signal Store, whatever, in that I've got a nested collection. So I'm using the store of the parent object to refer to the child entity. Is this behavior right? I don't know, but I've got to learn those things, right? We go and get the user. So what I was seeing was that I wasn't updating the comment because I didn't have enough information to display when I save it. So when you save data, not that one. No, I want a drawing. Infrastructure drawings. This would probably be best done as a let's just use this one, it's fine. When you save an item, the flow is you save it and then it gives you back an ID, right? Which is the GUID. It's the publicly available identifier of that object that you just saved, and that's the only thing it returns back. When you click on something, it obviously loads that from GraphQL. But if that's not available in GraphQL yet because it hasn't done the round trip, again, eventual consistency is a challenge, right? So I go and I save the thing, it goes to the API, it saves, right? That client doesn't have all the information it might need potentially. In so much as you've attached identifiers and things like that in the store, so for the user, for the projects, etc., but you haven't really attached those things, those objects. So the data might not be in the right format on the client. So when I save it, it gives me the ID back. But then when I click on it, I have to go to the GraphQL API to get the data. But that might not have made the full round trip. Why isn't that opening? Why is that just opening one tab? There you go. So when the client saves, it gives you the ID back. Then the client basically, to get the data again, makes a call to essentially the GraphQL backend, right, to pull the rest of the data. But when that round trip hasn't been made, you do need to have that data locally. Otherwise, you get an inconsistent behavior. So you'll see this if you create a planning item, right? If you create a planning item, a new item, and then you click immediately on the planning item, this will be blank, or it'll just sit there and do nothing. And I expect to get comments about that pretty quickly unless I fix it, which is what I'm trying to focus on. But the problem is I've then got to rebuild all this information from what I have on the client, which is a challenge because they're in different stalls, there's different data, and it's a different behavior than when I click on it and I load it, so I've got to be careful. Now when I'm saving it, maybe that's when I add it and whatnot. So it's That's what the comment's doing. So what the comment is doing is when I click add comment, it's saving the comment to the endpoint. When it gets the ID back, it now constructs the comment object and saves that. So this comment here is not, it's a representation of the server. So I need the user to be able to do that because I need all the information. So who created it is, it doesn't really matter, but it means the card will be complete. I don't have, oh, well, sometimes I have this information, sometimes I don't. So I can choose to try and build all the information I can, or I can accept that I don't always have the information. But yeah, it's the challenge I'm facing. I've got to figure out what the right rules are for doing this stuff, right? We then go and get the we actually go and make this, we save the data, right? So we go and pull back the comment. We save the comment and we get back the ID, right? So the result is the ID. It does have the concept of sending back more data, but I don't want to get into the habit of, oh, well, you might need this, so let's add more data in here. So the object that comes back is just an identifier. So then what I do is I build up a version of that with a date, right? Now, ultimately, I could use the date, and I have got an idea of it in somewhere else in the system where basically I say, okay, well, if my date is newer than your date, I'm going to ignore your data. I'm not quite sure on the right patterns to use there because it seems wasteful. Because basically, I'm saying, hey, server, what's your data on this? Oh, you've got older data. I don't care. Throw it out. So I'm pulling down data all the time for no reason. Maybe there's a concept of passing up my current date snapshot, so it returns nothing if there's the data on the server is older. Especially in the case of the planning item, right? So in the case of the planning item here, it could be out of date. The data that I've created, when I click on it, the server version, when I edit it, the server version is definitely older. So I want to store the version I've just updated. I do have that concept as well. So if I change something here and then navigate and come back, it will be the value I selected last. It won't be the server value. So there is the concept in there. I just got to make sure it works when you click on it the first time. Again, if you have any questions, thoughts, opinions on what I'm doing, if you have your own insights or own observations on this sort of behavior, please feel free. I'm open to discussion and learning on this stuff. So we get the comment and then we add it into the comments. And this is probably where my logic is failing me. We say, okay, well, if we have comments, then we're going to add the comment on top of item comments. Otherwise, we're going to create a new array out of this comment specifically. I'm pretty sure this is always going to be an empty array, but we'll figure that out afterwards. And then we're going to patch the state of the item. This is a new thing that I did. Initially, I did item.comments equals, so basically I did this. But I don't think you can do this. Let's see. Let's see if you can. Let's go over here, open this one. Let's add a comment. I'm going to have loads and loads and loads of comments. Adding a comment works just fine. Nope. You see how that just disappears? I use similar logic for caching drop-down list files. I check for the most recent last update date in the client's local store. Then on each page navigation that is to a page with drop-down lists, I send a request to the server for drop-down list values as of the most recent last update. Huh. Yeah. It's one of those things where I'm like, am I being hacky here, or is it actually the normal way of doing things? That sometimes I stop and question those things because it feels Wrong. So that one doesn't work. Hold on. Item dot. See that one. Comments. Does this work at all? So that one adds, and now we go adding a new comment after that last comment. That one doesn't work. so what's the difference there? There is no error on the server side, on the client side. This is me having to learn more about this. Apparently, I'm overriding something somewhere. Maybe that could be it though. Signal store members cannot be overridden. Let's have a look at that. Trying to override entity map. Well, hold on. Is that add task? Add task. No, comment is not in there at all. It's not. That's add task and add planning item components there. They're the problems there, not this one. So let's not panic about that one. That one does not seem to be related. So why does that not trigger another change when it comes in? So let's have a look. Let's validate that it gets in here every time. So let's go in here, comments, adding a new comment. No, let's make sure it looks different as well. Another comment after the last comment. So we hit save here. Go get the item. So we got our planning item, a user. We got a result. So that's given us our identity. That's now saved on the server. We have comments. There's our new one added at the top. And we have that. Okay, so let's do a second one. A second comment. Why doesn't this show? We hit save. We go there, we go there, we go there. We have our ID. It's a different ID. There's our comments. It's there. It doesn't show. So it's not a saving problem. The behavior looks identical. The first one shows, the second one doesn't. So if we go on and click on that now, because of the eventual consistency, those will be there now. So they got through. So how do I trace that down? There's no errors. Let's have a look. So the comments component does have this effect. Is that what's causing it? Don't think that's triggering every time. In comments equals comment I mean, it'll be more concise. I don't know if it won't change that behavior. The behavior's the same. So that's when it changes the first time. So this is trying to make sure that I'm loading the comments for the planning item. So if we add a comment, this is a new comment. Yeah, that doesn't refire. That saves and shows, but then the next one doesn't. Yeah, I mean, so what you're saying there is comment, comma, dot, 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 slash, item dot comments, or that. Yeah. It's just getting used to the million and one different ways I can do things in this framework, in this language. So it's not calling fetch comments again, so I don't have to worry about that. This is when you go into the screen, it loads it. But the store should update and the store should have, because this is getting planning item comments, so that the fact that the signal store is subscribed, but it doesn't. That's an interesting one. It doesn't trigger. So I don't know where to trace this. That's the big challenge. Now, this is going to be a problem time and time again. So it's worth trying to spend the time to understand why. I just don't know where to start looking. Can I this planning item? Can I put a signal around that? Because the store that changes, well, the store didn't get that change. Oh, pants. Wondering if this can be a signal, like that'd be that actually. I don't think that's what that does. Let's find out. Nope. This condition will always return true. Uh, that's what I want. But let's find out. What to come into existence signal planning item. That's because I'm doing that. That's wrong. That's why. Okay. I get it. Not. Hold on. Hey, Miss Rahon, how you doing? It's that, but that's not. That's not what I want to happen. That is not what it is for. I guess, why does the first one work, but then the second one fails? Most frustrating. That's rebuilding again. Okay. How's it going? Pretty good. Well, integrating Twitch in my side project and found that you can spin up an HTTP listener for a specific endpoint with .NET. Cool when you need an endpoint with like 5 lines of code. Nice. Were you creating like a hook, like a webhook thing? A callback for a Twitch thing? How am I looking for this? Not that one. Not that one. Gemini. Nice. Nice. I don't think I don't think any of the AIs understand what signal stores are yet. How do you, using NGRX, how can I subscribe changes of an Hi Lois. I don't know yet. We're going to test the same thing in ChatGPT depending on the answer it gives me. We do get different answers from them for certain. How can I subscribe to changes in entries? A nested collection. Let's see. First challenge is entering, observable, nested value, the store select. That does make sense. I'm not sure observable is the right thing to do. It's probably a signal. I'm not sure I posted anyway yet, but I created a Maui app that builds and code signing with auto update. A Maui app that builds. Huh. Sure, associates developer code signing. Is he doing some shallow ref? I don't know. The fact that it updates allow for fully valid installing. I went, nice. That clicks while you want that. So yeah, I'm looking for changes to this object essentially. So the comments, it loads the first comment, but the second comment doesn't show, but it should do. Now, is this something that I really, really, really need to focus on? No, but this sort of stuff is the sort of stuff that as people are testing the application, right, they're going to find this stuff. And I know about it, and it's small. It's relatively low hanging fruit in terms of it seems like a very logical thing to do. It's not changing the application behavior. I should do this. And again, understanding how this works will give me more tools to build the rest of the application out. So it's worth spending the time to figure out what's happening here. Ultimately, I'm going to do things like push notifications and stuff and push data down to the clients if things change. Objects indicate that, but that's not going to help this scenario. And you are unlikely to go adding many comments in one batch, but that doesn't mean I should ignore this. So let's give ChatGPT a go. Same question. What can I help with? Now I am signed into this one, but that doesn't. Okay, let's ask Claude as well. Claude AI. What we found last time is they give very different levels of answer. Whoa, that just finished. So ChatGPT, signal store, items. This is more what I want. Computed. Subscribe to the nested collection. Effect. Use an effect to watch changes. Okay. Oh, Claude went full code sample. Wow, that's nice. Create a computed signals to access nested data. So to-dos. So ChatGPT and Claude understood more what I was asking. Gemini did get that I was trying to talk, well, I was talking about nested property, but it lost the concept of collection. ChatGPT, this looks more, this understands what signal store is. So does Claude. Last time I messed around with any LM and signal stores, they didn't know because it was relatively new. So nested collection, selected to do is computed. That's fine. Selected to do items. Patch state, update to do item. When you assign it, since its reference changes, it can't subscribe, I think. Instead, should be an operation on it. Either way, both Claude and ChatGPT do suggest using computed properties. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's see if we're gonna introduce changes at a planning item comments feature. We're gonna introduce this do effect. See, this one doesn't use effect, but this isn't displaying it. This one knows I'm trying to display it. So ChatGPT kind of wins in terms of readability and actually doing what I'm asking it to do. Claude comes second just purely because it is a more complete sample and it understood that I did want to talk about nested collection, and Gemini loses because Gemini forgot to didn't understand nested collection. Now, which one's the right answer? Yeah. So I'm going to create a computed property. See, now this isn't using, this understands signal store, but it doesn't use the signal store properly. This one actually used signal store methods, but didn't use computed properties, which I'm still getting my head around how to do. So the planning item store query, we need with computed. Comments for item. Oh, that's why I didn't do a computed property. Can you do? I don't think you can do an argument. Nope. Should include completed. Computed. There's an. You can't pass an argument into the computed in the same way as that's asking me to do it. It would make sense because I'd be able to fetch comments for item. It's not state that item's ID. Yeah, that's how do you write the method computed methods using the with understand that. Really? You can do that? Let's find out. Comments for. Because I don't think you can do that. Doesn't use computed at all, does it? What's the point? Type is not assignable to signal unknown. Well, that's a double. That's like that goes to that. Assign the computed method. So the suggestion it's giving me does kind of work. However, so that these are general arguments you can pass in. So that's the collection, and then forget where I use that. Items with review window. Items with review window. I think I set that on the store. Yeah, set the state. So the way of doing this would be to set the currently selected planning item So should include completed. Again, trying to learn my way around signal store at the same time. So what there will be is something that's, patch state, right? With item status feature, show completed. So what I could do is patch the state to show which item is currently selected. And then I would have that in the computed. But this seems very long-winded. And the thing I don't like about that is I just had to go backward through should include completed to understand what I did there, right? Which is yeah. Now I could selected, which is a string, nullable string. I could put it in item status state, which is a dumb name. The way state is really hard for me, like to get my head around. As I understand it, it's just his. I suppose it is. It's like ASP.NET's. What is it called? ASP had the what was it called? What was the big glob of data that ASP.NET used to put at the end of the page? It was just everything. So state is kind of like that, and you just can kind of mold it in the way you want, and everything becomes part of the state. You can just change the shape of this as you need and add in different pieces and then just look at those specific pieces in context of the overall store. So if I put selected on here, selected is, null, whatever. Select item ID string. You know what I'm trying to do. Oh, it's not selected. So I can do that. And now in my query here, I could do selected, and that would be available to me now. So now I can do comments for selected. And then this would be why don't you like that? Because of the null. Why don't you like that? ID, string, and signal. How does that become a signal? That's interesting. Selected. Oh, because it can be null, and otherwise it becomes a signal. Now I would need to do though This is where this gets a bit weird. I need to select it. So in the views, planning items, detail, planning items table. It's only one line I mentioned before, the having to click on the title. I fully agree. Like you think you can click on the row, you can't. You click on the title. That is a that's its own. That's going to be its own challenge because I don't think the grid is very friendly to that perspective. To that perspective behavior. On detail opened, that's what that is. When I click on it, we open the detail. Now, I know this changes the state of the store, so that I know this is going to do something. Event emitter. So then the detail page is listening to on detail opened show. Actually, low detail for this dot store dot. Oof, I think I messed up the way I created our branches at work because dev staging had merged conflicts even though the branches were identical before the most recent PR. Uh-oh. That gets messy. Uh, Planning store query comments for selected. Oh, technically I need to get the selected first, don't I? That's why that's going to do that. I think staging was a child of dev. Unsure learning opportunities. Yep. Yep. Definitely. Staging is a child of dev. Eh. Yeah, that's wrong. Wrong order. Xcoding, hello, how are you doing? Okay. Not sure this is going to be the right way to do this, but we'll find out. Plot item store, item comments with methods, but we want to do. I didn't think it'd matter, but here we are. That's a new feature that I added to my terminal and in rest. Fine. I'm good. I'm good. I'm a bit cold. It is currently 17 Fahrenheit here, and the room I'm in, the seals have gone on the windows. It's pretty chilly in this room right this second. I've got a full word day ahead of me. That's gonna be good. Um, yeah, it's 17 Fahrenheit is well like negative -8 Celsius. Um, Headache's taken over. Not that one. Item status state. That's the one I want. I want that one. With state, with method select item. So I want select item identifier. That's interesting. Now I'm thinking about how I might redesign this. So I technically have just created some sort of debt because I could react to that as well. I could actually have the store kind of go and fetch that information or subscribe to that changing. Because what I could do here. I'm not going to mess around with the effect. Yeah, I'm not going to mess around with it. Let's see what happens. And then the comments, the detail here. App changes, app panel. That's the big screen. That's not this little one. Dashboard, planning items, components, planning item detail. Comments. So now this becomes, instead of being comments, this becomes stores, features, planning items, query feature. Got it. We've now made some lovely technical debt there. Comments for selected. So now instead of being this, I can't click on things because apparently my fingers aren't working properly. Create method comments for selected. It's computed though. If we go back to GPT, the computed property, it should be fine. Item, get nested collection, one. Yeah, however I use that doesn't really make a difference. So what I'm doing in my version is I'm setting the ID when I select the page. Comments for selected. Let's see. Is that erroring? That is erroring. Property comments for selected comes from an index signature, so it must be accessed with comments for selected. Wait, no, it doesn't. It's a part of the store. It's just like this. Items with computed, comments for selected. So items with review window. Store.items with review window. Yeah. How is that not the same thing? Store.items with review window. Oh, because it's not that, is it? It's store. Store I've saved there anyway, so it's available. Let's see. Uh-oh. No error, but not working. How do we do this then? comments for select. That doesn't make sense, by the way. That's a really terrible. That's if it works for now. But I'd want to think about the API there because that doesn't read correctly. Store.comments for selected. So I don't have like the concept of selected is roughly jammed in there, right? By having, I mean, this is just computed features. This adds the extra state with the methods for this state. But yeah, it's now, so this changes the state, selects the item ID. Actually, I should make that null. But select item. So when you go into the actual detail screen, you select the item now, which means that that's set. But then the comments, yeah. See, now I'm listening to this identifier, and I shouldn't need to do that because now the comments should be, yeah. So I'm I'm making the API messier by jamming this code in to solve this problem. It's going to become harder to maintain this, which is not what I want to do. I'll do here. So what I've essentially done is this. I've created this. But now it doesn't like that part. Sorry, I'm just trying to one thing I am going to start up over Christmas, by the way, is I have I have three of my consoles configured now: the Saturn, the GameCube, and the 3DO. They all have disk emulators. So over the winter break, I'm hoping to build a. I got a switcher, so I can put the different cables in there and have it all stream out. So I can pick and choose consoles all easier if I want to stream and play off actual hardware. That's gonna be one of my winter projects. Gonna build some organization to be able to use the actual consoles properly. How do I do this then? So we select the store. Let's see if we can get that selected status. How How would we actually see that? Actually, we could. Let's put a breakpoint in query. Let's put a breakpoint in here. Okay, we hit it. Okay, it's selected, actually set. Selected is not defined. There we go. So that's why that's there. And when we select, so, okay. That's interesting. It loaded the comments immediately. Which does make sense the way the screen's behaving. It's loading that component, and that component has it. So selected is not populated with entities, with computed. So where did I get? My understanding was that should come from, like, it knows that that's string undefined, so I'm not setting it in the right place then. Item table on show completed. So this one is on detail opened. Ah, there we go. That's what I want to do. I need the store though. Read only store equals inject planning item store. Right, and then I need to do that. And that becomes ID. That should have in the net the same result. Select item. So this is just, again, my continuing education with signal stores and understanding the behaviors as best I can as I do. It's my way of learning. I'm not perfect. So that is because the state, so the state's here, item status state there changes, and then the show completed feature, debugger. I click that, we get to there, we have the ID. We get to that, and we click on that, it's not set. Let's go back and put a breakpoint in. My understanding was it should it should this is the shape of the data. So should include completed comes from that state because I have it as part of the overall state of the object. So selected, you know, whatever I call that, but it should. So I go in here, I get to here, I get to select item, and then I get to there, but selected is undefined. Oh, but that's an actual signal, and this is not signal. Okay. Entities should include completed. Let's have a look. Let's think about a name on that one. Selected item. Select current planning item. Oh, set current planning item. Not the greatest of names, but it's going to work. Set current planning item. I'd rather be more verbose here and understand what I'm doing. Um, current planning item ID. Just in case selected, you know, is potentially used elsewhere. So it knows that's the state. That's okay. Current planning item ID. And then here we have current planning item ID there. There. Current planning item ID doesn't exist. There you go. So now we click on that. We get into here. We get into here. And that's undefined. So how do I pass that in? How do I make sure that's passed into computed? What sets will I pass in there? Request status. Item status feature. Let's rename that now anyway. Let's have a look. Let's make sure that works. Can't find module. Yeah. Okay. That's just because I had to rebuild and the module was missing. Okay. So we click on this now. We set the item. I want to just check should include computed doesn't contain 2 arguments now. Should include false. Okay. So why does that? What I'm looking for is how do I tell it that with computed accepts that? I thought that it just took what I passed, like it would just give me state arguments. So if I had conflicting state, selected would make sense because then it wouldn't know how to resolve state. But it did tell me that that was the right thing. With computed. So how does that not? So like Claude. Let's do. How do you do a new one in Claude? Apply to Claude. Start new chat. How do you pass state argument to with computed? Yeah, that just pulled the demo. That's why I'm confused over how to do this properly because the documentation for this, if I look at ngrx.io, you go into here, signal state, is it? Core concepts. What's deep computed? Oh, Deep computed. Each nested property. That might be interesting, but the documentation around this is not easy to look at. So computed with request, you see that demo then. So we've got request state, request status, and then we pass in with computed request status. So my assumption is that this variable is this. So if you pass in multiple pieces of state, yeah. Unless I can't do that here and have to have right now, because that's a parameter. So yeah, I'm not sure how to go about that. Because to me, current planning item ID is there. But it knows it's going to be string or undefined. Let's go and change the actual value in here. Let's change this to be a number, right? Does that change there? Yeah, it knows that that is that field. So is my state not correct? Is my state set not valid? Is that what the problem is? With items query, with items right, with hold on. Items query with item status feature. There we go. Okay, so that's what adds those methods. Ah, no. That shouldn't matter. Current planning item null. Afternoon Rambling Geek, how you doing? Item status. Item status. That's fine. Upset stomach. Oh no. String undefined. Oh. Yay. So it's with the fact that we were setting the state incorrectly. Okay, so. Hey Zons, how you doing? Let's do that. Bad? I'm sorry to hear that. I am cold today, but yeah. Some people are. Depends on the chat. You're comfortable talking? Yeah. Okay, so let's see. We go here. Those are the comments for that one. Go here. Those are the comments for that one. They are loading. They are changing. That's cool. Okay, add a new comment. Adding a new comment. Does this show? Has this all been worth it? Let's find out. Updating comments. It's coming later. But can I add a second comment? Yay! Don't make resolutions. If you need to change, change. More comments. Was all this effort worth it? Yay, finally. Okay. So what do we do there? Commit to the master branch of your life. Yeah, when we talk about retrospectives and things like that, looking back and seeing what we can change, etc. If you're in a workflow that is not working, change the workflow. Don't address the problems and change the workflow to be more productive. By all means, have a retrospective when you've done it for a while to make sure that you won't change anything. But don't wait and put it off and then oh, maybe I should do it. Oh, you know what, I'll set we'll set a plan to do this. Usually change the company. That's also an option. So we added a computed method for getting comments for the currently selected planning item. We added a method to select the current planning item. That is not the end of that. The way I'm thinking about that is this should be a bit more of a feature, in that when I select a planning item, other things should happen in response to that. Jabesel, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome in. So I think there's a lot more to do there as I learn more about signal stores. So we set the current planning item, and now the comments, when we display the comments are not pulled from just the property of the planning item. They are go and get the current selected comments, right? So if we've got a planning item selected, again, I can probably put more methods around this now to understand the state. So basically, I won't be doing select the planning item from the store. I'll have a selected planning item, and that's the one I'm focused on. So the challenge there is if I make my actions relative to that selected item. If I don't select the item, or I don't know what which item I'm touching right now, I could potentially change the wrong data. So I've got to keep an eye on that as I build those features out. But now I get comments for selected. This remains the same. I'm still going to add a comment. I'm still going to load the comments when the screen when the identifier changes. This happens. That's interesting that happened. I suppose it's the collection, so it doesn't really make a difference when I do that. Just I am loading them, so I can change back and forth between that and that. Does adding this comment work? Okay. But I do have another challenge in that now, if I put the comments thing in, it's now all relative to the planning item. So I gotta be careful I don't add. So developer visibility, does adding this comment work? Okay. Go to this one. Some more comments here. All right. Now I go back there. Yeah, I gotta be careful. Some of that's eventual consistency as well. It's going to bite me. So I gotta be careful what I click on. Some more comments here. Yeah. So, being aware of that piece. What Change there. Yeah, that's fine. Update. Needs to remove as well. Update permissions. There we go. Comments. Select current item. Clicking planning item. So there's another downside here that I'm gonna have to test in a second. Loading the comments from the currently selected. So I was trying to go down the path of setting a signal around the comments, right? That's essentially what that's just done. That's basically now put a signal there so that when the comments change, I get told they've changed and then the UI reacts properly. So that's essentially what just happened. Make that. Continue. There is another challenge though. So when I click on this, oh, I don't show comments in here. That's interesting. That's an interesting one. So probably should correct that. So that is planning views, planning items, detail. So this is the big screen. When we load it, this item this dot store dot select dot set current planning item ID. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. And then we're gonna do P. So this is components, detail. Essentially the same thing as this. I just forgot to put that in there. Writing to signals is not allowed in a computed or an effect by default. That is interesting. What I could do there is I could expand that out and have item stop being a property that I have to set and start being, when I set the current planning item, I basically can do this as part of that so I can know if I've loaded the detail or not. Which does give me back more control. It means that for an individual looking at the planning item, I just need to set the current planning item to be able to see the data associated, and everything else is, yeah. Again, just learning my way through using signal stores and trying to figure out what the right way, what the clean way is, what works for me, and just get more comfortable with it. It's just yet another piece. So now we should have comments. There we go. There's comments. We should be able to add a comment and it should work. Adding comment from the detail panel, detail view. Yeah, that works. Requirements. Interestingly, the button isn't there. Dotra and I saw an issue where the requirements button had gone missing. And I don't know how he did it. And I don't know how I've done it right now, but that's another issue to address. So yeah, add a requirement, add new. So again, I'm this is the sort of stuff that as people start to use it, I want to know how they feel. So yeah. Requirements button should always show. Requirements button can go missing. Add. Comments. Detail screen should added, verified. And push. So we push this now. Go to tasks here. Current sprint. If you are new to the stream, if you have any questions, thoughts, opinions, you'll hear this. You'll hear me say this a lot. But if you are new to the stream, you're more than welcome to ask questions. I'm open to opinions. This is a platform I've been working on for a year, actually over a year now, well over a year, and I'm open to feedback. The intention is very much for this to become a product. Did that just fail to push? Okay. Thank you, online. Once I've got these little things out of the way, and this is actually functional, we'll turn our attention to developers.stream for a couple of weeks. Developers.stream is a domain I registered several years ago with the intention of helping promote other developers who stream, whether that be on YouTube or Twitch or wherever. And the goal is to take stuff like one-liners kindly posted there and allow that to be shared. So if you're in a stream, if the streamer uses the platform, they can pull description text down that you control and describe you the way that you want to be described on a stream, and also help promote other developers streaming. So we'll turn our attention to that in the new year. And when we click on the backlog, it's always loading the content from the server. If tasks haven't made the round trip yet, then the data is not available. We don't want to throw out all the data in the store. So this is the next one up, which is to address the fact that when you add a task and go to this screen, it's not always visible. Yeah. Also, to those who are testing the application, realize that once you move something out, Apex, thank you very much. I will not be streaming the next couple of days, so I hope you have a great and happy holidays. Thank you so much for all the support you provided, and yeah, take care, have a good one, and I'll be back on Thursday, which is your Boxing Day. So No, I sincerely appreciate the support, and yeah, I have no. Thank you, man. I, no words. Take care. Have a great day. A great holiday. Okay. So let's check on that. Let's check on the status of that one. GitHub.com, TBD develop. So the client is separated out into its own project. The first time I've ever actually done this, where the client code is actually its own repository, and I think I like it. I do like having 100% the independence. The API itself is something that I will work hard to mock for testing. Okay, so ls client deployment, we can just delete that one. Now, the one thing that I have problems with this, right, is I now need to make sure I refresh my cache. And I'm gonna have to figure out cache busting, all that fun. Because as I load between screens, the where are you? Network, disable cache. I 100% know that the client code is cache. So if you get funky behavior, we'll work on that piece. Okay, so comments should now just fine without any delay and should show immediately. There you go. Oh, I'm going to flip my table if this doesn't work. Okay. We don't have the ability to delete comments so they stick around, but there we go. That's fixed. That's actually on the published site now. So we can go here, fix UI consistency. We can drag that to complete. We're going to address this one tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, on Thursday. We'll pick up this one. But overall, it's working. So my intention for this, gonna go back to the chaos. Thanks for the stream. Mojo, thank you very much. Take care, and you and I will get some planning done in the new year. See you again soon. Sorry. So over the winter period, I'm obviously gonna have to shut the machine down at some point. I don't really want to shut it down soon, but if you are a subscriber to the channel, I'm gonna give access to subscribers for the first couple of weeks, as a thank you. So if you are interested and you are a subscriber to the channel, you are more than welcome to go and provide me your email, sign up. You can go to Liquid Sky Software, sign up, give me your email, and if you post it in the Discord, I'll delete it as soon as I've added it. But there is a Discord channel that is only for subscribers. If you've got your Twitch and your Discord accounts linked, you're more than welcome to sign up. once I see your email, I will add the permissions so that you can actually sign in and do stuff with the application. And then we're going to run like that until the new year. And once I've got some actual further development made, some fixes done, etc., I'll open it up wider, and we'll get the permission stuff fixed so that people can sign up. If I see any malicious behavior, if I see any, people trying to test how much, if there's data limits or if you can upload files that are too big, etc., I'll just shut it down immediately. And until I've resolved some of those things, I won't provide any access. So please, treat it as a very, very, very early product that is just just starting to gather some momentum. I think I'm happy that we've solved one problem today and learned a little bit, right? So we have the signals working. Changes, if you're looking at changes and wondering what the heck this is, it's because it shares the fact that there were 3 GUIDs and we added it's not interpreting this data, right? This is providing just a before and after, right? And there's a generic control displaying the from and to. I've yet to decide how this sort of stuff should show. I think what this will be, this will interpret this as added comment. Or removed comment, etc. Added requirement, removed requirement, etc. I think those are more likely. Hello, little one. So, but again, I'm open to feedback, right? I'd like to see, because the idea of this is it will show you what has changed. Hello, Taylor. Hello. How are you doing? How are you doing? Loki and Taylor saying hello. Hey, buddy. You okay? You okay? You got your scarf on? You get your scarf on? Yeah. My wife put a scarf on him and he's all proud of it. Hello, bud. You okay? Oh, thank you. Okay, come on. Go on. We'll see. So yeah, that is that. They've just opened the door and there's a massive cold draft around the room now, so that's awesome. Okay. Okay. So let's I will be back. I will be back streaming on Thursday. Christmas stuff to do. But I will pick this up again. If you have any thoughts, questions, opinions on the product, on the ideas, if you want to know more about the technologies, you're more than welcome to join the Discord, ask questions. If you have, it doesn't matter if you're just beginning or you've been doing this for a while. I'm open. I want to create an environment of just discussion and sharing of ideas, and I'm very big on that. So do not be intimidated by the sheer amount of software there is here. You can ask questions and I will give you as much information. The source code is not open source because there's just so much of it. It's not something I want to support or whatever. So, but I will talk about it. But anyway, I want to thank OneLine. OneLine supports me more than I can ever properly appreciate, with shout outs, with just sheer motivation and energy. And OneLine is a great streamer with just another developer in this great Twitch environment of development streams, and there's just so many people you could shout out, right? So thank you very much. But I have got to go. I've got to go get some breakfast before work and figure out a warm drink now. So, um, yeah, we'll take this far. But again, if you have feedback, thoughts, opinions, um, should be Angular leaving, not you. Angular in your app. Angular because so the client is because I'm comfortable in Angular, right? I don't like Blazor. It's not my cup of tea. But in reality, it doesn't matter what I put on the UI. If I wanted to redo the UI, and I'm proving that to myself because the UI is completely standalone from the main project. It's just a set of APIs. Um, so yeah. Um, we'll see. You know, there's a. Are you streaming today online? I will. I'll probably. If you are, I do have a work day ahead of me. So yeah. Yep. Then I will. I will see you there. One line streams around midday EST, and is another fantastic .NET developer that you can. It's a great place to hang out, ask questions, streams his work stuff, and has community days out every Friday, which are fantastic places to hang out. But yeah. But anyway, I would love to discuss more, but I do have to leave. So thank you for joining me. Thank you. Have a great, if you celebrate Christmas or whatever you celebrate this time of year. I'm not au fait with holiday celebrations, but whatever you do celebrate, enjoy, be safe, and thank you very much. I will see you again on Thursday. Take care, all.